Please stand by. I now call Matt McLaren from Enfield Borough to speak.
Good morning. Both what is in the motion today and the detailed policy paper which it endorses is excellent. There can be no doubt of the truly transformative effect it would have if and when these policies were implemented by a future Liberal Democrat-influenced government. However, I want to speak to you today about what is not in the policy, and that is the welfare of farmed animals. Now, to their credit, the authors of the paper do acknowledge this omission and have promised in a further motion, specifically on this issue, being put to the spring conference. But I couldn't, in all good conscience, let a discussion on food and farming pass by without seeking to interject on behalf of all those animals who pay the ultimate price to satiate our appetites. Now, I personally follow a vegan lifestyle, and thus am especially pleased to see the policy paper proposing a new research and innovation fund which would support the alternative protein industry, especially with respect to British-grown plant-based foods. And I'm grateful to the movers of Amendment 1 for further highlighting that as an issue in the final lines of their amendment. Obviously, however, most people are not vegans and do not share my moral outlook on the suffering and torture inflicted upon animals as part of farming practices. Nonetheless, as Liberal Democrats, I would surely hope that we can all agree that the illegal brutalities must stop. Those things which we as a society have already agreed are beyond the pale and which shouldn't ever be inflicted upon any feeling sentient being. Of course, you could perhaps be forgiven for thinking that the mere fact they were already illegal means that they have already been stamped out. Sadly, this is just not the case. In November last year, Animal Equality and the Animal Law Foundation published a truly groundbreaking report on the huge enforcement problem we have here in the UK. Based on information collected over a 4-year period, they disclosed that each year over 97% of farms are not subject to any kind of official inspection. Moreover, even following a complaint being made, only half of farms were then formally inspected. And ultimately, just 0.33%, that is 3 for every 1,000 complaints made, only 3 result in a prosecution. This is all despite the fact that over an 11-year period, Animal Equality UK have investigated 43 farms and slaughterhouses and found every single time that they have prolonged animal suffering, deliberate abuse or neglect, and/or definitive illegal practices. So if I leave you with just one thought, let it be this. We must act to properly enforce animal welfare standards enshrined in law. And to that end, I very much hope that the members of the Federal Policy Committee and voting members of this conference in due course strongly consider augmenting the policy proposals here before us today with a proper farm licensing scheme, one capable of funding the rigorous inspection regime that
Can you please draw your comments to a close?
That agriculture in general and animal husbandry in particular requires. Thank you very much.